as well that the people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. Henry Ford. Today I'm going to inform you about the function of the Federal Reserve, what it is, or why it was created, who runs it, and what it does. Some of you may not know what the function of the Federal Reserve is. Today I'm going to explain that to you. For those of you that do, I'm going to give you a little more detail about the effect that it has on our lives. In the last few weeks I've been doing some research on the internet, in articles, and in books. So first I'm going to go over why the Federal Reserve was created, next I'm going to go over who runs it, and last I'm going to go over what it does. From the formation of the colonies to 1836, excuse me, there were two national banks created. These banks were modeled largely after the Bank of England, but they failed here due to large controversy over having a central banking system in the United States. From 1836 to 1913, we had what they called the free banking period. During this period, there was a lot of problem with banks not being able to honor withdrawals. They didn't have the money due to a drugstore. Even a drugstore could issue currency during that time. So anybody issuing currency, the banks couldn't honor the withdrawal in that currency. And faith in the whole system there wasn't good. According to Obringer Leanne on How the Fed Works, the 2nd of May 2002 on HowStuffWorks.com, in 1913 there were over 30,000 different currencies. The Federal Reserve was created on December 23rd of 1913 by the Congress of the United States. My source was American History, April 2009, Volume 44, Issue 1, and Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia, 6th edition. So, I've just talked about why the Federal Reserve was created. Now let's talk about who runs it. There is a Board of Governors on the Federal Reserve. There are 7 governors, and it's the national component to the system. The 7 governors are appointed by the President of the United States. These appointments have to be confirmed by the Senate. They're appointed for 14-year staggered terms so that there's stability and continuity throughout. That's from federalreserveeducation.org. On the Board of Governors, there's a chairman and a vice chairman. These chairmen are appointed by the President as well and have to be confirmed by the Senate. And they're appointed for 4-year terms. So I've got a graph of the hierarchy. So on top we've got the chairman, below him the Board of Governors, and below them we have the district. There's 12 different districts of the Federal Reserve throughout the nation. So that goes under the Board of Governors here. And then under them we have all the commercial banks, and under that we have the public. So you guys want to see that. So we've just gone over why it was created and who runs it. Now we will go over what it does. The Federal Reserve's original job was to organize, standardize, and stabilize the monetary system of the United States. It does this by creating a measure of liquidity in the money supply. In other words, it makes sure that you have the money to withdraw from the bank that wasn't there in the free banking period. The Federal Reserve is the bank of all banks. It does, and it's also the bank of the government. It influences inflation and recession by creating an elastic currency. It influences inflation by raising interest rates, and when interest rates are raised, people stop spending money. When they stop spending money, there's less demand equals fewer jobs. So it influences inflation by doing that, and then it influences recession by lowering the interest rates. When it lowers the interest rates, people spend more money. By spending more money, it increases the demand. Increasing the demand causes more jobs to be created. So I've got a graph for that. So here we have the Federal Reserve on this side. From there it goes to the interest rates being raised or lowered, and there to the banks. will loan money with raised interest rates or lowered interest rates. From there, the public acquires those loans. They spend that money, causing demand or less or no demand. And from there, it goes back into the Federal Reserve because they get a cut of every step of the way. So that's how they make their money. So you guys can see that too. The influencing inflation takes a long time. It takes several years for them to do it, so they have to plan quite a ways in the future for that. But influencing the recession can be done within several months. So they have to. The key is to find the balance between the two of those, so that the economy is stable throughout. They don't want to go too drastically either way. And that's from the Federal Reserve System, Dictionary of American History, 2003, encyclopedia.com. Last viewed 22nd of June, 2015. So I've just informed you a little bit about the function of the Federal Reserve, why it was created, who runs it, and what it does. The few who understand the system will either be so interested from its profits or so dependent on its favors that there will be no opposition from that class. Rothschild, Brother of London, 1863.